Someone just brought up the issue of the vocational profile. They didn't use those words, but wondered why they were told that at 39, they'd probably have a very difficult time winning Social Security disability claim. It really has to do with the vocational profile and the rules that apply to different profiles. So we have, in an easy way to say it, you have 50 and under 50, although sometimes a few days to few weeks before 50 can sometimes be massaged into 50. Then we have 55, then we have 60. So the under 50 vocational profile is the one that is most daunting. And it does not allow for certain rules to be used that older people can have applied to them. And I think part of the application of these rules is that when we get older, it is difficult to, I don't want to say teach an old dog new tricks, but transferring our old skills to a new arena, like let's say we can't do the medium to heavy job we used to do, or even the light job that we used to be able to do. And it was, had some skills. If there are other jobs that could use those skills, that is less exertional, that you could do because it's not above your exertional capacity that you have left after consideration of your impairments and their limitations, then we would be expected to be denied because we wouldn't be unable to do all jobs. Whereas if someone is of the age where they can use a rule that says, like the over 50, if they can't transfer those old skills and have no transferable skills, that could be because they were unskilled before, or any skills they had just simply aren't transferable for whatever reason. Then if they were, doing medium work before and all they can do is sedentary now and they can't transfer skills, there is a rule that allows them to be considered disabled because they're not really expected to be able to transfer to such a different kind of occupation. They don't have, again, I still want to go back to teaching old dog new tricks. It's really hard to jump to completely differently as we get older. I think of myself. I've got that 50 something thing going on, and I totally love what I do. And I have learned it for many, many years, and it's ingrained in me. But unlike when I was, say, 22 or 25, I don't think I could switch over and study up and become a physician, or, a biologist. I just don't think I could do it. I don't think my brain, our brain kind of seems to get narrower in terms of what we learn. Like my field, no problem. Probably legal field generally, but switch gears entirely to a totally different industry, not going to happen. And that's without having a medical reason for it, which I think is why it's an automated rule. It's just the way we get as we age, as a general rule. There are always exceptions, but of course, rules have to be made for the general, right? So that is why when you are under 50, you don't have that leeway that even if you could do sedentary, you're still disabled. For them, if you can do sedentary by their standards and their discretion, then you are not disabled because there are those jobs that you can do. There is no rule that excludes them from being considered. So that is the big reason, in my opinion, why it's much harder when you're under 50. Definitely not impossible, but you have to have really serious impairments, and the onus on you, I think, is far greater than ever to follow those attorneys or non-attorney reps' directions to treat, get those updated diagnostics and get them repeated. I don't mean like every month, but perhaps annually. You have to have a steady follow, as I always say, as frequent, unless it's going to be unreasonably too frequent. Be very aggressive with seeking visits to the extent that your insurance and or your personal funds will allow, and that's not unreasonable for your impairment. I know sometimes we have to go a really long time to get a doctor appointment, particularly specialists. Hopefully when you're once a patient of that specialist, that's not going to be the issue. Communicating with them in between visits about flare-ups, or very difficult days that occur, because we all have our worst days, and they're not usually the ones that we actually go to the doctor for, because we'd probably have canceled the appointment and rescheduled it. So important that you behave far more proactive than perhaps someone in their 50s or 60s would have to do. You just have to. And I have other videos on big impairments, small impairments, things that you don't think matter. Didn't take you out of your old job. Look at those videos. You're going to want to do that. It's meant for you guys the most. It's definitely meant for everybody, but it absolutely cannot be that you don't do it. And if you do, you might enjoy some of the high rates that some of us see prevails for under 50 people, because so many people are disabled in reality. They can't do an 8-hour day. Let's say it's for physical reasons. They can't do the 8-hour day because the pain will exacerbate. It's not like their legs fall off, but it's a subjective pain. Could be swelling, could be a variety of things, but oftentimes it is pain. And because it's subjective, it's very hard to get an adjudicator at the SSA for many disorders anyway, for many impairments, to say that someone can't even do a simple sit-down job or a sit-stand option job, where if you say, I can't sit long, well, they're like, fine, then take the sit-stand option job, So the burden is on you to show that can't be done, that you cannot withstand an 8-hour day, 5 days a week on a sustained basis, week after week after week for months. That's what they're saying you can do. So the onus is on you to show all the evidence as to why. And your comments about, and your statements, which are required, but they're not going to do it for you. They're required, and if you don't do them, you'll probably get disabled for denied for that reason. But they are not going to pull you over the hump. The foundation is the medical evidence, what is found in the medical records. We have so many methods for helping grow and increase the level of proofs needed to show the realities of somebody under 50. We have our area where we take under 50s, over 50s, all different ages. But the teamwork is extreme, and the onus on the claimant is really high, and it's things that only the claimant can do. So claimant has to do everything within his power, and then the representatives do the legal work, okay, and connect all the dots. So I hope this helps explain why under 50s have it so difficult. It is that vocational profile that puts you there, and that's based on your age more so than anything else when you're under 50. When you're over 50, we've got age and experience and education, because that's part of the vocational profile. And remember that education experience could give transferable skills, which would find them not disabled either if they can transfer those skills. So anyway, it's all in reference to the grids you've probably heard about too. Very complicated stuff. But anyway, just wanted to touch on that because people are like not understanding why under 50 they're going to be probably having a very, very difficult time. Sometimes it takes more than once, multiple applications. And again, it's never going to happen if you're not making your body and mind the top priority in terms of treatment. It's got to be your full-time job. All right. Hope it helps. Bye now.